think I can. You're smart. Just a t-shirt.
All right, hey, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I get my notes together, and all right, thank you all so much for joining us today. Welcome to Tell the Whole Damn World in our live stream event to preview the men's basketball game versus the 14th ranked North Carolina Tar Heels.
Come on.
Mattering of applause. We're the podcast that celebrates all things Cal and the prominent people who are passionate about our university and our sports teams. And we share stories about the rich history and traditions of the University of California, known to many as the center of the universe. We hope to put a smile on your face and help you come away feeling good about your connection to the greatest university on the planet. Before we get started, I have a quick question for all of you. I asked a similar question before the Duke game, but how many times has North Carolina played here in Berkeley? Anybody? That's right, 0. This is the very first time ever. So, yeah, hopefully we give them a warm welcome to Haas. I want to thank the Cal Alumni Association for putting this all together and allowing us to use Alumni House for this event. And this place always brings back some very special memories for me. I had my wedding reception here with my wife more than 12 years ago.
All right. Yeah, clap it up.
My name is Reza Serafinejad. I'm a Cal grad and Golden Bear fan, and I set all of this in motion more than a year ago now. And I wouldn't be able to do any of this without my co-host, Ahmad Anderson. He's the former walk-on turned starter who was the defensive captain of the 1982 Cal football team in the big game that's most famous for the And he created Bear territory, the chant that we all love to hear. You can tell that's what we've borrowed here for the name of the podcast. He's on the board of directors for the Cal Alumni Association, and he's in the Cal Hall of Fame. And as if all of that weren't enough, he's also running for mayor of Richmond.
Yes.
Move it, folks. Right here. What's up? Chicago style. Vote off.
And our special guest with us today is former Cal head coach Ben Braun.
Come on now. Let him know. Let him know.
And he was head coach here from 1996 through 2008, and his 219 wins at Cal are the second most by a coach in Cal history.
All right. Come on, folks. Look, and I know it's early, folks. We do have coffee here. Let them know we're here. Just give them a round of applause today. Come on. That's what Bear territory is all about, baby.
I got some more stuff to tell you about Ben Braun because it's pretty impressive what he did while he was head coach here at Cal. So he started things off with a bang here at Cal in the 1996-97 season, taking a team that wasn't expected to do much to a second place finish in the Pac-10. And that team made a lot of noise in the NCAA tournament, where the Golden Bears beat Princeton, Villanova, and had North Carolina on the ropes before losing in the Sweet 16, all without star guard Ed Gray, who was sidelined with a broken foot. Coach Braun was the first Cal coach to ever win Pac-10 Coach of the Year. And I think it's notable to say that in the 1998-99 season, with Braun as our head coach, the Golden Bears defeated North Carolina, UCLA, and Arizona during the course of the year to become the first team ever at Cal to beat 3 top 10 schools in the same season. Then after entering the NIT, the Golden Bears won 5 consecutive postseason games to capture the NIT title, and that was Cal's first postseason tournament championship since the Golden Bears won it all, the national championship in 1959. In the 12 years he was head coach, Coach Braun took Cal to 6 NCAA tournaments. Welcome, Coach. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
That's what we're all about.
Well, look, folks, Ahmad Anderson here again. Welcome to the Alumni House. And as I always say, for you Bears and your friends that are visiting with you, welcome back home. You're home away from home, the Alumni House. Please be sure to stop by when you're in the area. Tell your friends to become members because we're having great events such as this, putting a different shine and a greater glow on this Fiat Lux home of Cal, the University of California at Berkeley. So thank you again for being here. Look, I want to first and foremost recognize that we have some of our board members in here. Our board president, if she would stand up, please do so, Marcia Roberts. And then our interim executive director of Alumni House is here in the back, Kirk Tramble. Let's give a hand to him. And of course, the amazing staff that welcomed you here, Cindy and some of the team that's here. So for them, let's give them a Go Bears. Go Bears. So we are at that point in the season where we are looking at how great we are doing and we continue to strive. My question, Coach, and we are so glad that you're here with the inside stuff. As we evaluate the season so far, what are the strengths and weaknesses you see with the team thus far?
Well,
and what do we do to improve upon that as we move forward?
I get to be an expert on everything, and I'm still undefeated, so I like this role. ESPN role, but thank you for having me, and it's great to be back with Alumni, and I love this pregame. I hope it continues. I'm happy to help and support. I'd love to come here as a fan. But you look at this year's team, and this year's team with Coach Madison and the staff, they've improved greatly from a year ago. And the areas that they've improved in have really been a reason for their success. Their last year weren't really getting as many assists. There was only about 9 or 10 assists that were happening. Now they've had games of 20 plus, 4 or 5 or 6 games, 20 plus. They're averaging about 16, 17 assists, turning it over at a very low rate. I think 9 a game, one of the tops in the country. So ball possession is really important. That's an improvement. They actually are number 1 in the country in an interesting stat, and that is they don't give up steals, which means their ball handlers are really good, and they're securing with the ball. The challenge, as every coach has, is if you turn it over, make sure it's a good turnover. Make sure it's not a bad turnover that leads to a basket. But those are the areas they've improved in, and then obviously they're shooting a little bit under 50, 48%, 47. That's a good percentage, and I think those are the areas that they've really, they've done a good job at distributing and being what I call balanced scoring. A year ago, you kind of knew who their scorers were.
Right.
This year, I think it can come from any one of 4 or 5 positions. So they're a harder team to defend.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
No.
Want to pass it on? So yeah, when you take a look at our starters this year, Day-Day Ames, Justin Pippen, Chris Bell, Lee Dort, and Camden, what do you like in particular that you see from their skill set and what they bring to the table?
Well, I'd love to have had any one of those players when I was coaching. They're all very talented. Number 1, is this on?
Put it up.
Oh, put it up. That's better.
I'll run stairs later.
No, we're all right. No, I would love to have these players because they're really not only talented, but they're team-oriented. I think any one of these guys could score more points, but they don't because I think they're unselfish. Day-Day Ames is a tremendous ball handler and score. He can score at the end of a shot clock. If you guard him one-on-one, you're going to need a little help because he's that good. He can get his own shot off. He's shooting a tremendous percentage from 3, so you've got to get out to the 3-point line, but he can get by you. And he's also pretty good at playing defense and getting steals. I think Justin Pippen might be one of the more improved players in the country. Day-Day played at Virginia, but Justin's only played a year at Michigan. But what he's done this year, he's at one point led the team in assists, block shots, steals, and so he's done it all. And he's shooting free throws well. So I like what he's been able to do. He's an unselfish player. He's got a guy by the name of Scottie Pippen in his ear. I met Scottie and talked to him the other day, and he's coaching his kid pretty hard, so that's pretty good coaching. But John Camden's been a great addition. John can knock down 3-point shots if we leave him open. Great shooter. Lee Dort really improved his conditioning. He's now a guy that can go one-on-one in the post, grab rebounds. He can stay out of foul trouble. That'll help him. That's been a plus. So I like those guys and what they've been able to do. And they've got a number of guys this year that have helped improve their team. Probably forgot something.
No, I would definitely have to agree with you on that.
So here we go. You know, I've always been a sort of a student of the game, and because I was a walk-on, I understood the physics of it, but I really took note to having two different coaches that were head coaches and two different defensive back coaches that were different. You know, I think about the philosophy of coaching that Coach Madsen has. What are his strengths as a coach as it relates to that?
Well, you got to know that I coached against Mark Madsen, and he was really difficult to coach against. I mean, first of all, you never really disliked him because he was such a nice kid, but he was mean, tough, and a little nasty. And so I appreciate between the lines he was a competitor after the game, and I'll never forget this. One day he said, "Coach Braun," we were at Spencer, he said, "Can you help me work on my free throws?" And I said, "Mark," I said, "just beat the heck out of this. Why should I help you get better at your free throws?" I said, "Have Coach Montgomery work with you." He says, "No, he told me my hands are too big." But Mike is a great competitor. What he brings to Cal and brings to his team is the competitiveness. If you watch him, he's fiery. He's down to earth. He's the same person. He doesn't change. Win, lose, or draw, he's the same guy. And you really enjoy playing for him. He's really brought, I think, an up-tempo style, energetic style, NBA almost style to Cal. They play up and down. He's improved their defense, but he's just fiery, and his team, I think, has taken on that personality. So I like what he brings here, and his ability to get players. He's brought great players in here. You know, obviously, like any coach, can you keep the players here? That's the challenge.
That's right. That's right.
All right, yeah.
So moving forward, we're doing this back and forth with this. It talks about the challenges of doing podcasts live. When we're at home, we're just sitting in our pajamas below and our shirts on top, just relaxing. And the mics and we have headphones. But here, the challenges we're talking about is, and I'm going to lean in on it. You know, with NIL, it becomes quite the challenge. Who's up next? Who you're picking up at the airport? You can't sit in the living room and have the similar conversations we had back in the day of that I'm going to take care of your son or your daughter for the entire time they're here. So as we talk about those challenges and so much turnover, trying to keep the people together on the team, what is that like? You know about it in some ways, but you're still a coach and always be there.
Well, it's interesting. I don't really know about it because I didn't have to go through this. So we had the luxury of having kids stay 4 years, 3-4 years, unless they went pro, and you couldn't blame them for doing that. But you know, now with the ability to get more money, I wish that they would cap it, that every team would get the same amount of money, so you didn't have a division on each team where different players get different money. So that would help. But you know, you say that you can't really tell players anymore to stay here, get your education. I think at Cal, even at Stanford, or Virginia, certainly in the league, you still can say to players and parents, if you stay here, and anything ever happens to you, you get injured, where would you want to be in school if you couldn't play? The air goes out of the ball. Do you want to be, and I'm not putting down Kansas or Illinois, it's funny I brought up Illinois, right? But, and by the way, I did have this conversation, I won't tell you with whom, but I did talk about it, and I said, why, you're going to go back to Illinois, you're going to go back to these places that if something happens, is that where you want to be? You want to spend your next couple of years, or would you be there at all? So I just think here, you've got alumni, you've got future jobs, if you have injuries, you have pretty good medical staff and hospitals and people here that can help you. So I think that's still important here. And then, each player and each on the team's got to build relationships. And sometimes, players might give up something to stay with their friends. And so if they have a close friend or a girlfriend, whatever it might take to stay here, you stay here. And so I hope that the players will think about that, not just the next paycheck, because most of these kids who are that good are going to play pro anyways. I don't necessarily think they need the money to go to the next school, but they're going to get paid anyways. That's just my take.
Well, I'll say before I flip it over to Reza, the NIL impact will impact you today, but a degree from UC Berkeley, Cal, the Golden Bears will be is much more impactful for the rest of your life.
Yeah, good point. And I will say this, if you're thinking about giving money, the NIL is a pretty good thing to give money to. Mark Madsen would be happy to hear I said that, but that's what coaches need today. You need to raise money for that. So it does ensure that you're going to be able to keep some good players.
Yep. Write a check, folks. Today.
Yeah.
Before you leave today, we'll take the check at the front door.
Yeah.
Lock the doors, people.
Well, hey, looking at today's game right in front of us, Cal is currently 13-5. We're 1-4 in the ACC, but we're 12-2 at home. But unfortunately, we are riding a 3-game losing streak and have lost 4 of our last 5 since beginning ACC play. North Carolina enters the game with a 14-3 record, overall 2-2 in the ACC, and they just lost to Stanford the other night, 95-90. That was a high-scoring affair for sure. But they're only 1-2 away from home. So, what are your thoughts on what you see out of North Carolina, and what do you think our chances are against them?
Well, first of all, the chances would be better for Cal if I worked the game. I'm 12-1. So I told Manson, I said, Mark, you screwed up the one game. I'm not taking that one. You guys have that one. But and I didn't do the game in Kansas State, but I did do the Louisville game, so I got to take responsibility. No, I really think that that Cal has had a great preseason. I think they've got a great chance against North Carolina. Cal has been in every game. They've been a second half team, but interestingly, they get off to a really good start against Duke. So I still think if you're a coach and you're a team, it's easier to protect the lead than it is to play catch up. So I think the best thing that Cal can do is continue to try to get off to good starts. Just be either ahead at halftime or make sure it's a really competitive game. Because I think that Cal's got weapons. If it comes down to foul shooting, Cal's one of the top free throw shooting teams in the country. They shoot a little under 80, so they're going to win if they can make it a free throw shooting team. Also, if it comes down to a last shot, Cal can hit last shots. And so I think that Cal's got a great shot at that, and if they can continue to play and hold court at home, hold serve at home, and then just maybe get 500 on the road, then their chances again of getting into the NCAA tournament are great. And there's a lot of basketball left to be played, but this is a big game. You can you can come away with a split with Duke and North Carolina. You're doing something pretty well, and I think Cal's got a great shot to do that today.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Well, you sort of answered the coach. You jumped in, Coach. I was going to ask you about your thoughts about the NCAA. This morning I got up earlier than usual and had opportunities to watch Virginia Tech, SMU. Very interesting style of play. You are beginning to see those teams who put in the work early, the type of more aggressive defense, but like you said, the back and forth. With the type of offensive defense that the coaches put in place here, what does that look like as we even move through the ACC? Because people keep looking at that and then looking at where we are overall.
Well, so much of basketball, it really comes down to matchups. In a lot of sports, it doesn't. In basketball, you may play one team differently than you play another because of the matchups that occur in a game. So, you say, well, this team beat Louisville, we didn't. Well, maybe the matchups were better for that team in certain positions. But Cal's a hard team to match up to. If I were playing defense against Cal, I'm not sure who I would key on. Usually you can take one player out of a opposing team's lineup.
Yeah.
Obviously with North Carolina, they got the number one scorer. You try to take him out, or a Cameron Boozer take him out, which Cal did, by the way. Really turned him over. Then your chances of getting leads and winning go up. But with Cal, I think it's really difficult to go and stop just one player. A year ago, you could do that, and your chances went up against Cal. This year, take one player away. They got 3-4 other guys that can really hurt you. So I like the balance that Mark Manson has.
Very good.
Well, Coach, I want to talk to you about the last time we made it to the Sweet 16 in that game against North Carolina. We lost it 63-57, but we had them on the ropes for sure. I mean, it just seemed like we ran out of gas at the end there, but North Carolina had Antoine Jameson and Vince Carter, I think, on that team, right? And we countered with Randy Duck and Sean Marks, Al Grigsby, Tony Gonzalez, Yogi Stewart, Prentice Magruder, Anwar McQueen, and we didn't have Ed Gray available, who of course was just a sensational player. What can you tell us about, that game and what all went through and just the magnitude of it? Because, at least the time that I've been watching Cal since the early 90s with Jason Kidd, it's only been the 2 Sweet 16s that we've been to.
Yeah, and I thought we had a good shot to beat them even without Ed Gray, but Antoine Jameson was fabulous. He did well. Tony Gonzalez came off his biggest game of his career. His hat size was a little big after that game. I couldn't get it down to size, but he was so good against Villanova, and he was doing interviews every second. It was the story of our team. I said, Tony, you know we're playing a game against North Carolina, but that was a whole nother level. But no, it was a fun team to coach. You wonder what if Ed Gray plays. You know, he came off of 48 points in his last game, and there was a lot of time left in that game, and he was a leading scorer, second leading scorer in the country. I think our chances go way up. You know, we were the last team that year, interestingly, to beat Arizona, who won the national championship. They finished 5th in this league, and we finished 2nd, and we beat them in their last game. So we were good enough to win it. But unfortunately, and it's happened to me twice in my career, you had to go up against Dean Smith and North Carolina. That's blue blood. Those guys are good. And so, you know, you got to play awfully well if you want to win that game. But, you know, I think, you know, Cal can get back to that. You know, the trick is you get into the NCAA tournament, and like I said, it's matchups. If you get it through the first round, you worry about the next one. Get through the next one. You know, we had the misfortune of playing Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh in the NCAA and Oklahoma in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
If we could have played those teams on a neutral floor, we might get by, and then maybe we get back to a Final Four. So it's, again, matchups, location. But I'm excited for Cal, and I just want to see this team maximize, get its potential, and have a chance to play the NCAA tournament, because if this team can get into a postseason tournament, they could really make some noise.
Absolutely. Well, I think we were just talking briefly before we went on air here about all the different players that you were fortunate enough to coach. Do you have a favorite recruit?
Yeah, actually, people say, you can pick a guy. Coach, you said you had 24 guys you coached the NBA, and you can pick one guy? I said, it's easy. The number one recruit I had for Cal is somebody you might know very well, both of you, and I said it to him when we were there, and it was the only time I ever heard him speechless. We were doing a game together on the air, and I was asked that question, and I said, my number one recruit here at Cal was Roxy Bernstein. So I brought Roxy here, and Roxy gets amnesia. He forgets that sometimes. They came to me and said, what about this young guy? I said, hire him. He's going to be a superstar. I didn't know that, but I had a feeling he was.
Yes.
How good is Roxy Bernstein? He's number one. He's the best. So that's my number one recruit. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's awesome. We all love Rox. Well, hey, got to talk to you about the 1998 season, where we beat North Carolina at the Oakland Coliseum. And oh, by the way, under Coach Braun, that was the only time that Cal has ever beaten North Carolina. Now, I want to just take us back there and kind of set the stage for it a little bit. But we won that game 78-71. North Carolina entered the game ranked number 9 in the country at the time.
Yes.
We were down by 10 points with only 15 minutes left to play, but we rallied back to win the game before 19,657 fans at the Oakland Coliseum.
Yeah, that was memorable at the time, the largest crowd to watch a college game. But, you know, I'm not shy on confidence, and I think our team was very much the same. You have to have confidence. It doesn't matter if you're down or not. There's a person in this room that's heard that from me 1,000 times, and I'm glad you're saying all this, because sometimes he doesn't think I've ever done anything. He's sitting right there. That's my son. Everybody say hello to Julius Braun in the house.
Hey.
Good to have you around.
Hey.
All right. Here's my time, Julius, to make. He's applying to Cal. Who's going to help get in here? He's got straight A's. He's at Berkeley High. Straight A's. We're going to have to work on it.
The Beehive.
Yeah, we got to get him in. Although I don't know. Then he'll be close to home. Maybe we want to get him away from home. I don't know. Now, I'd love for him to be a Cal Bear. He's done well. He plays tennis for Berkeley High. He's a really good tennis player. Still can't beat the old man. Still can't beat the old man. Went to Peter Wright's camps. But no, I forgot your question.
Yeah, talking about that 1998 season.
Yeah, so you know that was something. So our guys were really upset because we wanted to get the NCAA. I thought the NCAA held it against us. Still, we were on probation. I think they were holding it against us for the, for Todd Boasman's last year, and they put us on probation. And I said, guys, we beat 3 top 10 teams. I don't know another team in the history of NCAA that's beat 3 top 10 teams, won 20 games, and still didn't go to the NCAA. So thought they took it out on us. Our guys did want to play in the NCAA, NIT. I rallied them together. I said the best thing you can do is to show the NCAA, all of our fan base and everybody, that you should have been in there. Let's win this tournament. And we did. And so that was really a big deal. And then afterwards, as you mentioned, we went to 4 or 5 NCAA tournaments. So that was a catalyst for us in our next couple of years. But that was an interesting team. We won that game, incidentally, in the Madison Square Garden. Anybody here at that game? What? Oh my God. So I get questions about this game all the time. And the question is, Coach Braun, what was that defense you're playing? Because Clemson couldn't figure it out. And I had to tell the truth. I said, either could I. One of my guy on my team, Gino Carlisle, when we were in man, he was in zone. When we were in zone, he was in man. So it looked like it was a combination defense, and it was. No, they couldn't figure it out. I said, Gino, just keep doing what you're doing. We won. So that's a secret. That's my secret.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, hey, Coach, we want to thank you so much for being here with us today, and want to thank all of you for being here, and for all of you watching on YouTube. We appreciate all of you. But we're gonna end it up here unless you have anything else.
I just want to say, coming together like this is really what Bear Territory is all about.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you. Give yourself a round of applause. And there's still more to come. You tell the whole damn world.
That's right. Well, hey, let's get on over to Haas and let's see us beat the Tar Heels. Before I let you all go, let's get the Go Bears on 3. 1, 2, 3. Go Bears!
And if you could hear my voice say, Go Bears.
Hey, so
I didn't want to say anything. I got Hey, December 22nd, 1970.
Hey, we're also going to get a picture.
Fifth year here. I went to really 64 to 61. I did. There it is. If you want to write that. One second.